What is the clear sign that someone liked you, but you didn't realize until later? There are 4 reasons why someone would be staring at your face for a prolonged period of time. 1. You look like someone they know, and they're trying to figure it who. 2. You have an interesting feature on your face or are shockingly ugly. 3. You are directly in front of them, and they're zoned out. 5. You are attractive to them. We were watching TV at her house, just us on the couch, and some character in the show said something I can't even remember now, and she said to me if we ever have sex. That's how I'm going to describe it. I think I just chuckled and said, oh really? And that was pretty much it. We hung out a few more times and didn't do anything, and eventually she ghosted me and moved to another town. I'm a f***ing idiot. Man. Lately I'm just so HRNY all the time. I wish I were joking. Pretty sure you called that one right. Unless there were other signs. First-hand witness here. Female friend said basically the same thing. Male friend took shot. She was not talking about him. Oof. JPG. I had a friend do this to me. Saying FCK it, I went for my shot. She's complimented me a few times. Right? She also hinted at my sexual partners. Me wearing sweatpants. Flirting with me. And so forth. She's told me she bets I have great sex. What could I lose? It's a shoo-in. My heart is thumping and I'm shaking like it's my first time. She replies, I don't find you that attractive. Double quote. Sucker punch to the nuts. What's strange is that I've dated and been with girls way hotter than her. In her eyes though, she wasn't into me. That's a rough lesson to learn. That was when I realized some girls really do just see guys as friends and nothing more, regardless of how much they flirt, touch, or send you risque photos. But hey, always shoot your shot. It'll suck for a while, but you'll learn to not be scared. Ages ago, I was hanging out with a gorgeous female coworker. We were watching a movie together on her couch and she leaned into me, putting her head on my shoulder, and said something about how desperately she needed to be FK'd. Replied with something like, oh, is that something I can help you with? Double quote. She sat bolt upright and basically teleported to the other end of the couch going, you. No. No. Oh god no. Double quote. We still got along with each other well enough at work but never hung out after hours again. Cute friend. Do you have a girlfriend? Double quote. Me. Nah. Cute friend. Are you dating someone? Double quote. Me. Nope. Not really. Double quote. Cute friend. Whoa. If you asked me out, I would date you. Double quote. Me. Huh. Thanks. Okay bye. Fast forward to a few years later. Me. Dot. Hol up. 7th grade me. Sitting on school computer playing RuneScape, because of course I was. Girl I had a crush on sits on my lap. Proceeds to say I need a girlfriend, because of course I did. A Christian one, while twiddling the cross around her neck. Sorry babe. Elvar isn't going to slay himself. Now I'm an alcoholic. She asked me to prom. Still didn't pick up on it. Same thing happened to me. Totally didn't get it and just went with a genuinely platonic lady friend. The girl that asked me out showed up to prom drunk with a rando and proceeded to make it very clear that she was planning on having sex with me that night and was instead going to do it with said rando. Girl lived across the hall in my college dorm. She came over in just her new push-up bra to see what I thought of it. Mother f***ing f bro lol, there's only one other time I missed a massive hint. Got home from service, ran into a girl from high school at the gym and started hanging out, catching up, and became friends. I was over her place one night and I'm just chilling in her bed mind you, and she goes to shower and comes back out in matching bra and panties and slowly walks to her mirror, looks at herself, then me, and gets into bed. I just sat there and started talking to her and being chill and kept drinking our Slurpees I picked up and left a little later when she was ready for bed and to get more comfy. She would always find an excuse to sit close to me. I spent a year flirting with my sister's neighbor. Always invited him to come swim with me at the pool. Showed up at his house with stuff I baked for him to try. Played with his hair. Sat next to him. Hugged him hello and goodbye when I wouldn't do that to anyone else. Finally I just asked him out. I asked him if he ever noticed and he had no idea. He said he might have noticed something in the last month but he wasn't sure. Edit. He said yes. It's been 3 months. My boss's face became red and had the biggest smile ever when I talked about inviting her to the dinner I was going to have for my birthday. She also became extremely sad when I said that I liked another woman. It wasn't until I stopped liking the other woman that I realized that my boss liked me. Worst part is that the other woman didn't care for me in that sense at all. She is still a good friend though. This was way back in high school a good 20 years ago. She asked me and my buddy to walk her to her car. And while we were walking, she sidled up to me and grabbed my hand. We walked hand in hand all the way to her car. She said she's gotta go home or something. And so naturally I said something like okay. Drive safe. And then amble away like a f***ing carrot. My buddy is looking at me dumbfounded. Slack-jawed. He chewed me out good. Said something like what is wrong with you? I assured him that friends often hold hands. And it probably didn't mean anything. If she reads this. Sorry for being such a dunce. A different girl. A couple years older than me. Asked me to the prom. And I basically said nah. I don't think I'll ever go to the prom. I was certain she wanted to go as friends. That one I did realize and apologize for. Because a friend of hers confronted me later saying it was humiliating. I was. And remain. Completely oblivious to human interaction sometimes. When she said, yay. My boobs are big. You can grab them. I wouldn't care. I laughed. W. T. F. She asked to bake brownies with me. She sent me bikini pics and a side boob pic showing her new tattoo. She asked to make chocolate covered fruit with me. Called me to go out to eat with her on campus multiple times. I thought she was just being a nice friend. Update. We are actually engaged now. Close bracket. I got a good one. I was in college and I was attracted to this girl with a huge behind. We all went out with a group of friends. She said out loud he don't know how to handle all of this with a smile and look right at me. Then my dumb ass said I sure don't and turned and talked to the other guys. Damn. I blew that one night. After work. She needed a ride home. I let her drive my car because she wanted to drive a stick. She drove me to some secluded spot that only could have been described as MacLeod Point. I had to be somewhere. So I drove her home. Yes. This is all real. The only reason I turned my computer on today was to see if you'd emailed me. Double quote. In my defense. I had asked her out a few times already. But she had told me she was busy each time. I took what I thought was the hint but I later found out she had legitimately been busy each time. Unfortunately. By then she had already started dating the guy she's now married to. I don't know man. If she wanted to date you she would have said let's do it another time or scheduled something with you. I feel like she was just a misleading bitch. Excuse the French. While talking in a group. They pay the most attention to you and try to ask for small favors. This always happens to one of my friends who is a straight up asshole. Love the dude but he's an asshole. Every time we're in a group setting. All the females flock to him for small favors. It's incredibly aggravating because he's already taken and doesn't want any of them. Then there's the rest of us. All single. Utterly alone. Classic. They want to spend time with you. People don't realize this. Think about it. If there's someone out there you don't care about seeing or hanging out with, you'll find reasons not to do it because there are other things you want to do with your time. If someone continues to want to hang out with you and see you, it's because they enjoy the time they spend with you. Once a girl took me to my favorite tea place. Bought it for me. Then we went thrifting and she bought me buttons in a jar. And I still didn't get it lol. And she like sat very close to me and even wrapped her arm around my shoulders but. Nope. Her efforts failed so hard. Picture this. I'm a shy girl in high school. There's this cute guy that always want to walk me home, talk to me after school. I find it weird. Especially because I live super close to the school. It's not a long walk and it's not on his way. Because I'm shy and awkward and I don't understand why he wants to talk to me. I always try to leave school super fast so he doesn't find me. Fast forward 3 years later, sitting in a uni class. I realized that I was a socially awkward idiot. She cornered me at a house party 10 years later and called me an idiot for not being able to recognize that everyone she's dated since middle school happened to be a close friend of mine during the time period. I still think that's a pretty indirect course to chart. She could have just asked me out and I would have said yes. In high school. She was gorgeous. She ended up wearing my leather jacket and said I was mysterious. And hot. Double quote. I just thought she was being nice. Sigh. I was way too shy to do anything about it. Posted this as an answer to another question. I'll copy it here so you can share the misery. Dude here. Roommate had introduced me to a woman who said she wanted to get to know me. On several occasions we're in the backyard. Watching a movie and having a bonfire. She's got her legs across my lap. Her one arm across my chest. And the other behind me. Her head on my shoulder looking at me with the most obvious kiss me eyes anyone could have. My dumbass decides to ask what? Why are you looking at me like that? And goes back to watching the movie. Now engaged. With a kid. Her of course. Not me. To a guy who knew the signs. Recently I was going home in a cab with a friend of mine after a long night out. I was going to my place. She was going to her place. We shared some laughs in the cab and she told me she was very happy we were friends again now after a period of us not really hanging out talking. Then we both shared jokes about how our first names would sound if we had each other's last names. I don't care who started it. Then she said, hey, why don't we just go get married right now, Mayo? I'm absolutely fking refusing to see this as a sign. I was at a high school dance. I really wanted to dance with my crush and was preparing to ask her. Then a girl from her group of friends came to me and asked me for a dance. I danced with her and then she casually asked me who I had a crush on. We were friends so it wasn't weird. I proxed to tell her. When we finished dancing I asked my crush. She said no in front of all her and my friends. I cried in the bathroom. When I composed myself I went and enjoyed the night further. I had noticed the girl I danced with first was crying but I didn't think much of it because I was with my guy friends at the time. Thinking back I realized I crushed her heart. Well. He sent me a picture of a cute dog that said even upside down you're my whole world. I love you so much and then added that's true. He also asked what would happen if he'd asked me out. Other time he tried to get my opinion whether getting pizza together would count as a date. There was also that time when he told me I'm the best girl he knows. So yeah. I didn't catch on that. Well. In the end he asked me out and that's when I understood that he kept throwing hints at me. He's an amazing boyfriend. She always tried to correct my behavior almost like a mother but not in a creepy way. And she somehow always managed to be in my general vicinity. I didn't see it at the time but she would cop an attitude when other girls talked to me. 12-year-old me was very confused as to why the also 12-year-old niece of my neighbor, one Nancy, wanted to play fairy tale where the princess to kiss the princess to wake her up and, oh, hey, you be the prince and I'll be the princess. 12-year-old was old enough to think, hey, kissing girls gives me a boner. And also old enough that fairy tale roleplay was a little childish. But for whatever reason I was wildly disconnected by what this all meant so I was like prince and princesses? Girl. I got a Game Boy. Smell ya later. Miss Grimm. Double quote. Sorry. Nancy. I know you were hot to trot but it's probably for the best anyway. I smoked cigarettes as a teen. One weekend at the beach I was hanging with a couple of girls I met who also smoked. I thought one of them in particular was very pretty. Later that night she was smoking a cigarette and asked me if I wanted a shotgun. I had just finished a cig, so I declined. Not even considering that she wasn't really offering me second-hand smoke, but rather an excuse for me to make a move. Oblivious. We never did kiss.